Hey y'all, I am Carolina Tony. Today at Cedar Island, North Carolina. In just a few minutes we'll be boarding a ferry to go across Pamplico Sound to Ocracoke Island. There's a lot to see and do for the next few days, and you get to come with us. And in just a few minutes I'll show you where we are now. This is going to be an awesome adventure. So we'll get started right after this station identification. Our adventure today begins on Cedar Island, North Carolina, and we are here waiting to catch a ferry across to Ocracoke. Let me show you where we're at. Here's where we are. We traveled from South Carolina all the way down through here, through the Outer Banks National Scenic Byways, and we are right now at the Cedar Island Ferry. In just a few minutes we're going to catch the ferry across the Pamplico Sound, I believe that is where we're at, to Ocracoke, and that's where we'll be staying the first night. We are on the ferry and we are leaving Cedar Island. Let's walk forward and see what it looks like as we cross across Pamplico Sound. Staying at the Anchorage Inn and Marina, and here it is here. We'll take you inside in just a few minutes. And you hear Debbie laughing. There's a reason I'm laughing. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit. Well, we asked for a harbor view and we actually got one. And this is the harbor in Ocracoke, North Carolina. We came over on the ferry, and it is a very, very long ways over here. Two-hour drive. Well, that would be a 2-hour boat ride by ferry. You have to make a reservation, and we waited over 2 hours because the boat. Yeah, okay, 2 hours and 40 minutes. And the boat only runs like twice a day, so you need to take it or leave it. There's the lighthouse over that way. We are going to try out for dinner tonight the Ocracoke Oyster Company. I didn't say anything about what we had at the oyster house. Mine was blackened flounder, was very good, and had black beans and rice. The coleslaw was good. Debbie had a crab cake, probably, I don't know, it wasn't very big at all. The shocker was it was like 15 bucks. 16. It's okay. She likes to hold me out to the last penny. $16.
Nothing but the crab cake.
Just a crab cake, and I could eat it in one bite. But, you know, she said it was pretty decent. Not the best, not the worst. When you are flying by the seat of your pants, sometimes things don't work out the way you hope they would. Little shops and stuff. Not a whole lot to do here. There are some restaurants, and we thought there were only 2 hotels on the island. Well, that Debbie if I mess up, she'll sure straighten me out. I thought there were only 2. She said, no, 3. Okay, we thought there were only 3 hotels on the island, but we found out later that I saw just what Expedia said. There's actually a lot more. Little coffee shop. Decoy. Oh, they make decoys in there. Here's one that didn't show up on the internet. The Bluff Shoal Hotel. This is the pool for the Anchorage Hotel on the other side of the street. Be honest with you, this is the nicest part of it. We got this room at Anchorage Inn through booking.com. Yes, they have pets here. And I can't get in the room. One of the keys didn't work. Well, here we go. This is the room. The furniture is very old. The bed kind of sways and sunken in the middle. Yeah, here Debbie, she said she's glad we're only here one night. Refrigerator, no microwave. Little coffee machine. Here's the bathroom. It seems to be clean. This is a British cemetery on the island of Ocracoke. It has quite an interesting history behind it.
This is the story of the crosses. These crosses were cast by the T.A. Loving Construction Company for the United States Navy in 1942. For 41 years, they marked the graves of 4 Bedfordshire crewmen. In 1983, the Commonwealth War Graves Commission replaced them with regulation British grave markers. David Esham was president of the newly formed Ocracoke Presbyterian Society and managed to save the crosses from being destroyed. They were stored under the Pony Island Motel and subsequently under the Ocracoke Preservation Society Museum until 2001. In May of that year, at the request of the United States Coast Guard, the graveyard of the Atlantic Museum and the Ocracoke Preservation Society, the Commonwealth War Graves Commission gave permission to display the crosses on site. In 2003, the people of Ocracoke Island donated the Black Granite Memorial commemorating the loss of HMT Bedfordshire and her crew in action against U-558. This gallant ship and crew were hit while protecting our coast during World War II.
And here are the actual graves. These grave sites contain the body of 4 British seamen. Their ship, the armed trawler HMS Bedfordshire, was on loan to our Navy by Great Britain to help protect their shores during the early days of World War II. On May 11, 1942, the Bedfordshire was torpedoed and sunk by a German sub. All hands were lost, and these 4 were the only bodies recovered. Ocracoke so far seems to be a little laid-back town. There's not a lot of commercial things here. Folks riding bicycles, just enjoying life. Debbie,
Laid back.
yeah, real laid back. Debbie said that she reads a lot of Nicholas Sparks books, and he goes into great detail to explain the relaxed atmosphere of the Outer Banks. And this is the Ocracoke Island Lighthouse. This is the oldest functioning lighthouse in North Carolina and one of the oldest in North America. Was constructed in 1823, the Ocracoke Lighthouse guides mariners through the important Ocracoke Inlet. For over 200 years, the 70-foot tall lighthouse has watched over the inlet and the village of Ocracoke. Predating all other inlets on the Outer Banks, Ocracoke Inlet was one of the most important maritime features on the southeast coast, providing valuable access to the ports of Elizabeth City, Newbern, and Edenton. Since the 1700s, descendants of the Spanish horses on Ocracoke have basically run wild. In the 1950s, when the highway system through here was completed, I guess for safety reasons, they corralled them up and put them in a pen. So this is the famous Ocracoke pony pen, and these horses are descendants from the Spanish horses from the 1700s. Still on Ocracoke, and we're headed to the north end. This little strip of land that we're on is very narrow. You see those sandbags right on the right. That's where sand dunes were. Right directly on the other side of those bags is the ocean. So the ocean is just a few feet from this road. The dunes. There's dunes on this side. Right on the other side of that grass is the Pamplico Sound. So this little narrow causeway here, it really takes a beating from Mother Nature. We are leaving Ocracoke now on another ferry headed towards Hatteras. 1 hour and 15 minutes by ferry to Hatteras, North Carolina. Look off in the distance, you can make it out. The clumpings all out in the sound there. It's another ferry. That one is scooting right along. Are on the little narrow strip of land in Hatteras, North Carolina. Over there is the Pamplico Sound, and of course right on the other side of these sand dunes is the ocean. So you literally drive right on the ocean. And by the way, there are places that you can get and you can drive on the ocean. This is the Cape Hatteras Lighthouse. As you can see, it is encompassed in iron and being worked on. So these are the lightkeepers' houses that the lightkeepers would have stayed in around 1939. The lighthouse became electric, and there was not need for the lighthouse keeper to stay here, but they probably could have. but they didn't have to do the work on the lighthouse that they did prior to it being electric. The Bodie Island Lighthouse Station. This is the lightkeeper's residence. You've noticed by the two front doors it's divided up in two. Most of the time the lightkeeper's houses would be divided up for two different families. This is the third lighthouse built in this area. The first lighthouse was built in 1848 and was 57 foot tall, and it became unsafe and was raised in 1861. The 90 foot tall second lighthouse was built just 2 weeks earlier, was destroyed by the Confederate troops during the Civil War. Work crews moved to the recently completed 1870 Cape Hatteras Lighthouse to begin constructing the new lighthouse for Bodie Island, and on October the 1st, 1872, the third and current Bodie Island lighthouse was illuminated for the first time. We are on Nags Head right now, and we are at the Jockey Ridge sand dune area. We're walking up a fairly steep sandy incline right now. All these twisted trees coming out of the sand. It's pretty neat. Very peaceful here. Also very hot. Here is a sand dune that we will have to climb. It's way up there. I think I can. I'm getting a wheel. Oh, here it is. Is there anyone out there hang gliding?
I haven't seen anybody, but there may be. I didn't go all the way to the water.
Right, well, we're at Jockey Ridge, and of course you can tell this is a hang glider. So we're going to do this.
Jockey's Ridge is the tallest natural sand dune on the eastern coast of the United States, fluctuating between 80 and 100 feet above sea level. Most geologists believe that the dune was formed by strong wind, water currents caused by hurricanes and strong storms, which wash sand from large offshore shoals onto the beaches. Over many years, the wind moved the sand inland. Shifting maritime winds blow billions of grains of sand in various directions, constantly changing both the shape and size of the dune.
We are at Nags Head, or we are on Nags Head, nonetheless, Nags Head, North Carolina. Went on to booking.com trying to find us a room. It was reasonable, it was clean. We always look for good reviews. Well, we found this one, the Tar Heel Motel, and here it is. It's an old motor court style motel right across from the ocean. Right on the other side of those houses is the ocean. Well, we get here and there's no one in the office and the door's locked, and there's a number that's on the front door that says for assistance, call. Well, I called and it rang and it rang and it rang and it rang and it rang, and then a voicemail comes on and says, leave a number and they'll get back with you. Well, they didn't. So I found another number and I called and I told them, this is crazy. How'd I get my room? Well, she said, I'll have somebody call you. Someone called me eventually. Took about 15-20 minutes out in the 90-degree air. Well, she gave us a code to get in our room. That's crazy. I have never experienced anything like that. Well, this is us finally, room 29. We checked in a few minutes ago and put our code in, and here it is. So the room looks clean. Refrigerator, microwave, toaster oven, TV. Bathroom looks pretty clean from what I can tell. Let's see. Yeah. Well, as Forrest Gump says, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. We are now in downtown Manteo, North Carolina, still part of the Outer Banks. We're gonna walk around and just see what is in downtown Manteo, the Maritime Museum. This is where the wastewater treatment plant used to stand at the end of this dock, and now we have a beautiful lighthouse. Can you see that over there in the difference? It is a pirate ship. Arr.
Yeah, but you have to call this number. And they give you a code.
This is a pretty neat little town. Little shops and restaurants. Right on the waterfront. There's the Lost Colony Tavern. This old theater.
Duck Church.
Oh, there is the Duck Church. And a duck water tower. This is the 5th of the 5 lighthouses on the Outer Banks, and I think this is my favorite. This is beautiful. And I would imagine this would be the lighthouse keeper's house, or over there. All right, well, we are going up inside the Currituck Lighthouse, and it's a long ways up there. And we will see if I give out of air before I get to the top. Right now, I am 20 feet above the ground. It's a long ways down, and holy moly, will I make it. "102 feet, facing the east, the ocean." Here's where we're at right now. I think one more level and I feel the burn in my legs. And we've made it. We are at the top of the lighthouse. There is the lamp right there with all the prisms. If I walk around. It is a long way down. That is going to do it for our trip across the Outer Banks of North Carolina. We have traveled from Cedar Island all the way to the end to the Cheraw Lighthouse, and I'll say I went to the top and it was absolutely beautiful. Debbie did not go to the top.
Nope, I chose to stay at the bottom.
Might be a smart thing, but
Yeah,
I will say this, 2 months ago I don't think I could have done it. But this has been a great trip. I hope you have enjoyed the Outer Banks as much as we have. Your thoughts?
It's a great place. It's very laid back. Never been before, so it was a joy to see.
It was, and I hope you've got some tips to make your adventure here even better. Well, we hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give us a big old thumbs up. But until next time.
Y'all have a good day.
For sure.